Hi, my name's Andy Freeman and this is this week's Shush. We're thinking about change. I wonder what change means to you. I wonder what change is happening in your life right now. I wonder what change you want. Maybe you don't want any change at all. We spent a bit of time together when we were doing our Shush meditations this week, thinking about some quotes about change, and there's a few up on the screen now. And one of the things that we noticed is that sometimes this can be a thing we choose. Sometimes it can be something that's presented to us, an opportunity. But behind it always was a sense of hopefulness. And I like this quote from Emily Dickinson. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings a tune without words and never stops at all. That hope lifts us, that hope gives us something. Wherever you are today, I hope that you have some hope, or you can find some hope. And one of the ways that we might start doing that is just to think about how we're doing, to be honest. So take a moment with me and just almost scan yourself, your emotions, your physical self, your thoughts. How are you doing today? We used pictures to try and help us with that, and on the floor are a number of pictures. We spent time trying to find one that summed up how we felt. You have a look at them now and see if there's one that you notice. But if not, maybe stop the video and scroll through your phone and find a picture that sums up how you feel right now. Carl Rogers said, the paradox is the moment we accept ourselves exactly as we are, then we can change. So as we've taken time to think, how am I doing? The kind of next step in kind of building hope might well be around, well, what might be possible today? How can I look a little bit more positively at the day in a balanced way, and in a way that feels fair and weighs up the pros and cons of everything, but to say, well, you know what, how might I feel more positive today? And one task might be just to think about 3 things this morning that you're grateful for. You take a little bit of time to do that with me now. Maybe what's thing 1 that you're really grateful for today? What's thing 2? And then what's thing 3? We're going to take a moment now for a poem, and Rebecca is going to share that with you now.
He didn't know her, but she smiled, and he needed that today. And he smiled back, and she walked past and carried on the other way. And he walked on, and he kept pace, and other people passed his way. And he smiled, and they smiled back, and they needed that today. And they walked on, and he walked on, and other people passed their ways. And they smiled back, and others walked towards, and then away. And she got home, and she won't know how many lives were changed, because she smiled, and he smiled back, and she needed that today.
You take a little bit of time to be still with me. We're going to do a breathing meditation that will hopefully help you begin to think about some of these ideas that we've shared. Some of the ways that we've begun to think about how we're doing and about change. Get yourself comfortable with me. Hands on your lap or maybe just together. Big deep breath. Maybe do a sigh just to let everything out. I'd like you to focus on the movement of your breathing. Find that movement of your rib cage. Feel the pull down of your diaphragm as you breathe in. Notice the flow of air in and out of your mouth and nose. And we certainly think that meditation is about focusing on one thing. And so use this as your one thing to keep drawing you back, just the physical motion of breathing. It has so many health benefits. Right now it should bring you a sense of calmness and stillness. Try and slow it down. Just breathe in and out in a simple way as you can. As we breathe in and out, I'm going to use the in and out motion as a bit of a picture or a metaphor for what we're thinking about. So as you breathe in now, each breath in, keep doing the in and out, but in each breath in, think about the change that you feel you need in life. What's the change that you need? And almost imagine breathing it in. Maybe it's a change of circumstances and you're inhaling it and it's going around your body. Maybe it is a change to be more hopeful. Change for things to be calmer or quieter or busier. Whatever you feel, just imagine breathing it in and it's going around your body. After a while, I want you to switch focus to your outward breath. Notice in the poem that there was the smile or the look that we received, but also there was the one that we gave, and hope and change was passed on. Positivity was passed on. So what you think on the outward breath now, keep breathing in and out, but on the outward breath, think about what's the change that I can give to others. Maybe it is a smile. An encouraging word. And each outward breath, just think about what can I give? What change can I give? guy called Steve Johnson talks about change as the idea of the adjacent possible. And the idea is it's the next door thing. We often think change is a big thing that we have to bring about, radical big changes in our lives. Johnson's point is that change always starts with the imagination and this little next door idea. So if I'm here, I can move here. If I want to get there, I'll start by moving from here to here. He thinks about it like a doorway. What's the doorway next to you? What's the next thing that you can step through? If I want to give up smoking, what's the way that I can open the first door to maybe cut down? If I want to start exercising and being healthier, what's the first thing that I can do? Not all the big all the way. And schemes like Couch to 5K and different things like that in exercise use this kind of idea all the time. You start little increments. So you're thinking about change in your life. What's the next step? In the Aaron Sorkin TV program, The West Wing, Jed Bartlett, the president, was so overwhelmed by his job and there was so much to do, he'd always ask his staff, what's next? What's the next step? So what's next? What's your adjacent possible? Everyone who attended our meditations this week got this little doorknob, and it had a sign on it that said, "We stand at a doorway." What's the doorway that you could walk through today? What's this first step in that change that you want in your life? What's that thing that you can do now? Your what next? Spend a bit of time thinking about that now before we move on. To finish, we're going to do something called the soothe sequence. This is a great way to just ground, calm your body. If you feel stressed, this is a good thing to do. It incorporates movement, grounding and breathing. And it's something that we use a lot, particularly in our kind of more physical classes like restorative yoga. But I find it's a great thing to do at the end of a meditation, just to get myself ready to go into the rest of my day. And there are 7 things. We're going to stamp, we're going to shake, we're going to do soft touch, we're going to self-hug, we're going to sway or swish, we're going to stretch, and then we're going to sigh and smile. So firstly, we're going to stamp. Just get your legs moving, bit of movement, stamp. Even that, it's amazing how grounding it is when you do that. Then we're going to shake. We're going to just let ourselves get a bit loose. Shake your legs, arms, whatever you want to do. And then just very gently, the outer edges of your body, just a little bit of self-touch. And that can move into actually a bit of a hug. And now what you might notice you start to do when you do this is to sway. It's very natural, but that's the next step. Just allow yourself just a moment to sway or swish. Then we're going to do a stretch, and this is a bit like a stretch when you're awake in the morning. First thing, all creatures in the whole of the world stretch when they wake. It's a very natural thing to do, so just a bit of a stretch. And then lastly, we're going to let go with a sigh. And a smile. Just a simple way to ground yourself as we think about the rest of the day. So that's this week's Shush. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to have a video every week. But if you're in the Sheffield area, we do Shush meditations face-to-face at our base at Scotia Works. Details are on the website, but they happen every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Finish about 9:15, and then every Thursday afternoon at 3:30, and we finish about 4:15. And it's the same meditation, just one in the morning, one in the evening. That's every week. They're free to access, just come along. There's an Eventbrite page that you can link to, or you can go on a website, or you can just rock up. But otherwise, we'll be back on video for another Shhh next week. In the meantime, hope you're really well and look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers, bye bye.